Welcome back to the Cowboys Culture Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 6, all right? We're back with the boys. I'm Ethan. This is my brother Jacob and our buddy Steven. Before we get into some juicy Cowboys content that you guys are here to see, let's pay the bills.
Once again, we're going to thank our buddies over at 360 Roofing and Restoration. Thank you, Coy Wilson, for everything you do for our podcast. Coy, man, you talk about just a stellar roofing company, guys. I mean, this guy can handle anything. All
Everything.
Right? Commercial roofing, residential roofing. He partners with insurance agencies to make sure the insured is taken care of. This guy goes as far as partnering up with real estate agents to ensure that their clients are handled, man. So if you have any roofing need whatsoever in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, be sure to reach out to Coy and 360 Roofing and Restoration. They can be found on all social platforms. They can be found, obviously, on their website. I was looking at their website today. It looks awesome. So, anyway, reach out to 360 Roofing. Thanks, guys, for everything you do for us.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thank you, 360 Roofing and Restoration. Awesome. Here on the Cowboys Culture Podcast, we're always trying to evolve, create new segments for you, fine people of the Cowboys Nation. And we have decided to give Jacob his own segment, which is News.
Hey, it's News Jacob.
News Jacob. So Jacob's going to tell us the news of what's going on in the Star.
Yeah, so I mean, and we all know when something happens at the Star,
It's huge.
they're talking about it all over the world, and so we're going to talk about it. So we got a couple things today. Some of them, one of them's really big, one of them hopefully isn't big. But first one, Terrence Steele.
Oh, he's huge.
Yeah, that's humongous.
He's huge.
He's a big guy.
We found out a few days ago, Terrence Steele signs a 5-year deal, $86 million, I believe, 50 guaranteed, $15 million signing bonus. This makes
well deserved. I mean, dude fought for a spot.
Yeah, so this is going to make him, I think it's going to put him in the top 10 among right tackles.
That's incredible, man.
Okay.
Terrence Steele.
So you're talking about a undrafted dude out of Texas Tech
Wreckham.
who is now a top 10 paid right tackle in the league, locking him down for 5 years. I feel personally, and I'll let you guys say what you think about this, but I feel personally really good about this. I think it's a solid deal. Having him, I believe that's around like 17, 18 million per year. He's got a lot of incentives in there. I think he can get it up to like 91 or something like that if everything goes right. But to me, to lock down a solid, I mean, especially when it comes to the run. When you looked at last season, there was a clear difference in us running the ball when we had him and when we didn't. I think that O-line is just a position that is just so hard to find solid, like just studs at that position right now. And so to have a guy that's young like this, that has shown you that work ethic, to go from a guy that everybody's wanting to cut to now a guy that earns that kind of a contract, I think that's a guy you want to hold on to. And I'm just glad we have him on the team. I'm glad he's here for years to come. And it's like we're you're seeing us begin to rebuild the Dallas O-line.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Just speaking on someone that remembers some of the better O-lines, I think back to, say 2013 through 2016, man. I mean, like we had the best O-line in football. And some of those guys started fading off over the past few years. And, man, bringing these young guys in, getting them signed up, it's crazy to think that Terrence Steele's up for a contract. I mean, it's wild. I still think of him as extremely young. I still think of him as almost a rookie. But, yeah, I'm glad we locked him down. He's in Dallas for a while, so that's great.
Yeah, I mean, what else can be said? We have our right tackle for the future. We can worry about getting studs at, everywhere else and not have to worry about O-line for a while. So,
yeah.
What else we got, Jake?
Yeah, so the other thing we got, like I said, hopefully this isn't a big thing, but we heard, I believe yesterday, that Tyler Smith had to leave practice because of a possible hamstring injury. He was having some discomfort. I heard from reports that he was able to walk on his own, and from the initial tests, or at least from what Jerry tells us, which Steven has his opinion on everything from Jerry, but from what Jerry tells us, he says that they thought initially that maybe it could have been a problem, but from whatever tests or evaluations they did, it seems that it was. They seem pretty optimistic about it. Maybe it's something that Jerry wasn't willing to say for sure he's going to be there, or for sure he's not. But he seemed to be more along the lines of that he was going to be okay. That they were going to do an MRI on it for precaution, just to make sure it's not something more serious. But it seemed like he's going to be okay. But we haven't really gotten a clear answer, which is worrying me.
Yeah, as this podcast is being filmed on Tuesday the 5th, sorry, Labor Day in there, Tuesday the 5th, we did learn that Monday the 4th on Labor Day is when he went down.
Yeah, exited.
They called it a hamstring discomfort, and whenever someone says hamstring discomfort, and then the next day they start saying MRI,
yeah, I don't like
that's
that.
when I start getting leery. It's Jerry Jones's job to get up there and do the smoke and mirrors. We got the Giants in a few days. He doesn't want to say that someone of the caliber of Tyler Smith. He's in trouble.
Yeah, he's not going to do that.
Yeah, he's doing the Jerry dance up there. Oh, we thought it was going to be bad, but actually, it turns out it's all right, but we're just going to do an MRI for precautionary test. You can't get a trainer to say, "Yeah, this hamstring's fine,"
Yeah.
So that's where I get concerned. I've been listening to Jerry talk for a long time, man, and nobody's a better smoke and mirrors guy than Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I mean, I'm not super. I'm definitely not happy that I've got that news. So. Yeah.
So you guys are saying that you feel like he's not ready week 1?
Here's what I'm saying. I think if Tyler Smith plays on Sunday night, I don't think we're getting 100% Tyler Smith. So just keep that in mind when we're out there.
And I mean, honestly, best case scenario, maybe he is, and maybe we do.
Yeah, best case scenario. Worst case scenario, we have a 80% Tyler Smith, which I'll take over.
I mean, I think worst case scenario, it's like what you're saying. It's an actual 2 to 3 week injury, and we miss him. But I'm hoping that's why I said at the beginning. Hopefully, it's nothing. Hopefully, it's just the words of the beloved Tony Romo. You got to hope it's just a cramp. And yeah,
and it wasn't. All right, Jacob, you got anything else?
In terms of recent news, I think that's all we got.
Well, great. Then now we can get into the meat of this podcast, of this episode. Let's talk about a preview. But before that, I got ahead of myself. Let's talk about our season predictions. Super early season predictions ahead of the 2023-2024 season. Let's go talk individually. Steven, what do you think that the Cowboys' record is going to be?
Yeah, so I've got us finishing 14-3. Okay.
All right. So,
which is a solid finish.
Let me preference this. Who do we win? Tell us who we win against. Tell us who we lose against, and why.
Yeah. So.
Well, actually, just who we lose against.
So we're going to lose to. First and foremost, we're going to lose the last game of the season to Washington because so much is going to be locked up at that point. I just feel like that's Trey Lance and even some Cooper Rush running around out there. So I'll just cut to that. That's a boring loss. Then I've got us losing to the two West teams.
Which ones?
San Francisco and Seattle.
Okay, because we play all four.
So you
okay. the two that matter. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Right.
So
you're saying that you think we lose to those teams more than losing to the Bills. No, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, at one point I thought maybe we go up to Buffalo and lose.
Yeah.
I've restructured that thought process.
All right.
I've decided we're going to go up there and win it.
That's understandable.
Yeah. Well, it's not. It's
I
not
feel
really that
similar, but
understandable.
no,
But
exactly.
I just kept thinking, hey, we can beat Buffalo. But I kept convincing myself we couldn't win up there in December in the cold. And then I said, we're going to.
Yeah.
And here's why. Here's why. And I don't want to get too deep into it because we're just going over predictions here. But I think it's because we had the better digs. I think it's because we had the better digs, and I think
we have the better digs.
I think that's where we're going to win this game.
That's a huge.
I like them both. I think they're at their
Stephon
position.
is a
They're
fantastic receiver.
equally as solid at their position. I just think if you put them against each other, the matchup is in our favor. I believe.
Yeah, and these are two guys. Like you get on YouTube, get on Instagram, whatever you want to.
They
and
compete.
look, they are competing against each other literally every moment of freedom they have. They are finding each other.
Hey, and in the NFL, youth is a good thing, and we have the little brother.
Yeah, so that's that. I mean, call me silly, but I think that's where the game is going to be won. So I think we're going to keep more points off the board.
So tell me why in the world you have us losing to the Seahawks and the Niners.
So the Seahawks. Let me go Niners first. All right.
All right.
Niners
Perfect.
first. The reason you don't see an Eagles loss on there is because the boogeyman's coming to town.
Yeah.
Right? Until you show me that you can beat Dak, until you prove you can beat Dak, Philadelphia, you are not going to win the game. Yep. Show me you can do it, and then we'll start rethinking things. Shout out Eagles. But
shout out.
I think the same thing goes for Kyle Shanahan. All right. So until we prove that we can beat our boogeyman, he's just got our number. It's so weird how we play offensively against, and I realize that's not Kyle Shanahan, and I do realize that their defensive coordinator that played boogeyman to us for so long, D'Amico Ryans,
and our boogeyman is gone.
Well, you're referring to Kellen Moore.
I am.
So yeah, we're going to come at him with a different play scheme. We're going to come at him with a very Kyle Shanahan-like scheme.
We'll see.
And an offense his dad helped create. But anyway, like I just it's one of those things where it's like both times we went and played them over the last 2 years. You looked at that matchup and you said, "We win these games."
This in the bag. Yeah.
And for whatever reason, offensively, we don't perform. I understand the Kellen Moore situation, but it's kind of one of those things where I'm not going to be biased here, and I'm going to say prove it before I believe it.
Right.
So I also do, and we don't have to get into this, but I also do think we see him again.
All right.
And then Seattle, man, you don't go undefeated. So when I look at Seattle, I just see some matchups there where it is possible to not win. They're coming here. I think
roster.
Yeah, I think
that they have super capitalized on that Russell Wilson trade.
Yeah.
I mean, they have put. I mean, all skill positions on their team are not a lacking position. I mean, they have just racked up young talent on the both sides of the skill positions.
I think very highly still of their coach, of old Pete. I think he's such a competitor, and
we've seen if Geno goes down, he can get out there and he can throw the ball around.
That's right. The old man can still sling it around.
Dude, he was actually kind of throwing dots, low key, for an old man.
Hey, look, Pete will throw for you, but but then I look at stuff like Lockett, good, Metcalf, good. Don't get me wrong, Diggs, Gilmore, good, probably better. But I think there's some weapons, and I think Geno can move. And if we have any weakness, it's a quarterback that can get out and run around and get away from Micah. So hey, we win a lot of games. We're going to win a lot of games, and I hope we win. I hope we win the 3. I'm saying we're not going to,
because I'm probably going to be at that game, so I hope we win.
Right on, yeah. Hey, Cowboys culture. Anytime we're in the building, come find us, come say
Oh,
hi.
yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that's me. Jake, on to you. Pull up the old document here. This is how TV works. But yeah, so Jacob's got us at 14-3. Also, man, you thinking along the same lines as me, Jake, or is it a little bit different?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, I agreed with you on the Washington situation. I think that
end of the year.
With obviously going 14-3, we're both pretty much putting us at the number one spot. I think so. I think we'll probably have it locked at that point. And so I think
shout out Eagles.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like it could be another situation like last year where we're going to the playoffs and we just don't want to risk. We don't want to risk getting anybody hurt. We want to spend more time in preparation for that game. Hopefully, that's a 2-week preparation.
Yeah.
Because we get the bye. But, so that's like Steven said, that's my first loss. I have us losing 2 other ones. I have us losing the second game to the Jets, and I have us losing to the Bills, actually. And the reason is because, in my opinion, first off, those are the 2 best quarterbacks we face all season.
Yeah, those are going to be the 2 toughest teams we play.
Yeah, I think we have an incredible
quarterbacks. I'm sorry, not teams.
Yeah, I think we have an incredible defense. But I'm saying if we're going to lose some games, I think it's going to be to a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who, if anybody can read a defense right now, it's Aaron. And a guy like
he's had some practice.
Yeah, and a guy like Josh Allen, who truly is kind of like our kryptonite. He is a
get around and run.
I mean, the pass. If you come quickly around the edge like that and just try to pin your ears back, the dude's going to be gone, and he's hard to bring down. Especially, we all know we're kind of our linebacker depth is not the greatest, and so. I mean, especially late in the season like that, if we have any injuries or whatever, I mean, I just can't imagine how that would look, especially in the cold too. So, I mean, I think and another thing with the Bills, I think that overall they're the best roster that we face all season.
Yeah.
And so if we are going to lose 2 games, I'm going to predict it's going to be the ones that have the best quarterbacks and have overall.
So, Jacob, you're saying that the Buffalo Bills are better than the world-class, dominating Philadelphia Eagles?
I do.
Definitely.
I think that
definitely.
I think the Eagles' offense can pretty much hang with anybody.
Whoever sues people for denouncing the Eagles, please don't see this podcast.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously we know the Eagles are going to be able to score some points. That offense, that scheme that they run with Hurts, those receiving weapons. They're going to score, right? That offensive line is great. We'll see what it's like this year without. I think they lost the right guard, but anyways, I think the Bills, because of Josh Allen, can be just as explosive, and I do think the Bills have the overall better defense. I know the Eagles have a stacked D-line, but I think overall, when you take everything into account, I think the Bills overall are better, and so.
Do you buy into my theory?
But yeah,
that we have the better D.
And again, I'll say I don't think there's a huge margin between the Eagles and the Bills. The reason for me thinking that we're going to sweep the Eagles is primarily because of what you were describing.
Yeah.
It seems to me that for whatever reason, Dak refuses to lose to the Eagles.
He won't do it.
And so, like Steven said, until they show me otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and mark that as a win. And so, yeah, I have us, just wrapping it up, I have us at 13-3 losses, the last game of the season to Washington. The Jets with Aaron Rodgers, who it's kind of like what we're talking about the Eagles. Until we beat them, I'm going to go ahead and be afraid of that game.
It's understandable.
Aaron Rodgers seems to have our number just like Dak has the Eagles. And then Josh Allen, I think, he's the best overall quarterback we face. I think it'll be a challenge. And because it's at their home in the cold in December, I'm just going to say maybe they have the edge. So, yeah, that's what I got for this season. But overall, I mean, me and Steven both having us 14-3. That shows you how confident we are. But now we're going to get to Ethan.
Yeah, and just disclaimer, he doesn't really think that Josh Allen is the best quarterback that we're going to face. It will be Jalen Hurts. Please don't snipe my best friend.
Yeah.
All right, so So let's go, Ethan, man. Ethan, we talked about this kind of off the pod a little bit, and Ethan has a shocker,
And I'll explain myself.
of a prediction, and we're just going to get right into it, because if we're only talking about who we're going to lose to, and we're going to break down why that is, Ethan's got a very short one. Ethan's got us going 16-1.
16-1, and I understand. Here, I get it. You know, you're a casual Cowboys fan, and you just looked up a podcast. You found a podcast about Cowboys, and you're like, "What is this guy talking about?" You know, because you listen to a lot of mainstream media stuff, and they say we suck and we're going to go 9-8 again. But let me tell you something. The game that we lose, I think we might lose to. And again, I'm being an extreme homer here, ladies and gentlemen, but pay attention to me when I say this. We've talked about the whole Josh Allen thing, okay? But there's so many more factors that play into this. The Bills are the only team that I looked at this offseason and said they have just as of a complete team as we do. It's pound for pound. You know, you're trading some. They have better linebacker group. We have a better O-line. We have a better D-line. They have better defensive tackles. They have better safeties. You know, we have better corners. They have better, you know, whatever the case may be.
They have good corners.
They have good corners, but we have better corners.
Yeah.
But we have a better receiving core. They have better, you know, whatever the case may be. I think that pound for pound, they're probably one of the best teams in the NFL, or they are one of the best teams in the NFL alongside of us. And yeah, I think that it's going to be snowing probably there. It's going to be in December. We've got to go there. And one of the other big reasons why I think we lose that game is because this is the end of the season when Josh Allen is really getting to Josh Allen mode. He's kind of a Dak kind of guy. Regular season's kind of his thing, especially here where every game's kind of like, okay, who's going to lead the NFC? The AFC. You know, you got Burrow and Mahomes back there. You got to make sure, you know, you're winning all those games. I mean, I definitely see a world where we win that game, certainly. I mean, you can see, you know, 16-1, that's one loss.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here. Cowboys undefeated 2023.
Yeah, undefeated. but I wanted to round off, since mine was really short, I want to say this. The only other games that I can see us losing, but I'm going to tell you why we don't lose, is the Jets game with Aaron Rodgers, and I'll tell you why we don't. It's game 2. This dude, they don't have it all figured out. They got the dude like halfway through the offseason, or like, he's barely been there. You know, it takes some time to figure things out.
Need more than training camp to figure it out.
You need more than training camp and 3 throws in the preseason to figure things out. I think that they still struggle as far as receiving core goes, and
they're good at corner.
Whatever that DJ Reed guy said about being being a historic defense. You're not even the 3rd best defense in the NFL, so relax.
Man, that's almost as wild as predicting that someone's going 16-1.
Yeah, I mean you're not even the top 3 defense in the league. You got good corners and 1 defensive lineman, and that's it. So relax.
This defense has played together a season?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We've got 3 years of continuity and the best NFL player in the world. So let's chill. Anyways. And then the Niners, you know, that game for me, I see that game and I'm like, okay, yes, we can definitely lose this game, but I just have this feeling that, man, this is the time when we just give it to them.
Bosa better than Parsons?
And never. That dude's been snubbed by 2, Watt and Bosa, both years in a row. He should have won it as his rookie year, Defensive Player of the Year. So, but yeah, I mean, and then just to say this really quick, Dolphins fans are ridiculous, dude. I see a lot of Dolphins fans just like, if anybody is more of a homer about their team, it is Dolphins fans.
Good for them.
But like they talk about Tua like I've heard Dolphins fans say he is the best quarterback in the league. He is not a top 10 quarterback. He really isn't.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, he's not.
Someone says that he is
like number 1, the best.
He is the best quarterback in the NFL.
But let's be fair though.
I've heard it.
See, let's be fair.
Mahomes,
And let me just
Burrow, Allen,
go ahead, Jake.
Even if he was,
Rodgers.
Steven would never say it
Yeah,
because we
Steven
all
would
know
never say
where he came from.
Yeah, I mean, he went to Alabama, and
So he can't be
he's
the
a
number one.
quarterback, so he can't be number
No.
one because the last great Alabama quarterback played in Super Bowl III.
Right.
But
here, I'll say this just to wrap up my portion. I'll say this.
Has he played a whole year yet?
No.
The guy's got a concussion right now.
Yeah. The that's one big reason why I don't think he's going to be standing up by the end of that time. And if he, like I've said this many times before to y'all, but if he is, Mike is going to make sure he's not. And that O-line is kind of not great. And when you're playing the Cowboys and your O-line is not great, Kirk Cousins knows what that's like.
So
a lot of
Joe
quarterbacks. Joe Burrow knows exactly what that's like.
Bet.
That kind of deal. And, Jalen Ramsey's not really going to be probably 100% by then. He had a huge injury. And even if he is
he still Jalen Ramsey?
definitely not, probably not with an injury like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty tough, especially
even
at his
healthy,
age.
there was a drop off last season.
Now, the only thing that and they don't even have a running game. I don't see how people are genuinely scared of the Dolphins.
I'm definitely confused about that. Like the Dolphins are going to compete for the NFC.
I don't understand that. You have no run game. Tua can't stay up.
I'm not saying they're not going to go to the playoffs or anything.
I mean, they might.
If Tua's available.
If Tua's healthy and he's playing, the concussion's not impacting him or whatever. Just because of Tyreek and Waddle, they're going to score points
for sure.
The problem is when it comes, and I know we'll get into this. I don't want to.
We're giving them a little too much credit here.
I just think their play style is exactly what we want. We want you can't run the ball, you're pass heavy. Where you need plays to develop downfield and you try to throw bombs. That's what we're hoping that you try to do. So I just think it's a good matchup for us. But overall,
Tua's got a heck of an arm. Fine,
Yeah.
I've never seen somebody man, that dude is living off of that national championship throw for a long time.
Anyway, 16-1. I don't think because I thought about it and I was like, there's no team except for maybe the Bills where I'm going in and I'm like, am I going to be nervous on some of those wins? Absolutely. The Jets game, the Niners game, the Dolphins game, the Bills game and all that.
Both Eagles games are going to be good games.
The Eagles
I'm not going to give them that much credit, but also the Seahawks.
They can't give us a good game.
No, the Seahawks game and all that. I'll fine. Yeah, I'll be a little nervous come game time, but if I'm just thinking about it and I'm like, okay, who can win this game? I just in my mind I can't think about it and say, yeah, they're going to win that game. No, you don't have the better team, so I can't say that.
Sure. I mean, and it's the NFL. Things happen, and obviously teams don't very often go 16-1.
So am I going to be surprised if they don't go 16-1? No.
Yeah.
But I have high hopes.
Sure.
So somehow, this season, we're going to, according to Cowboys culture, we're going to be somewhere between 14-3 and 16-1.
So 15-2. Average.
I think that's very possible.
It is possible.
I think it's very possible. But here's what I know is going to happen. The Cowboys are going to the playoffs this year. Okay, mm-hmm. They could sleep their way to a wild card. So I really believe that the wheels fell off, we're in the wild card. All right. So
that's good. I like that assessment.
I kind of hope 16-1 guy over at the end of the table. I kind of actually hope we don't go 16-1 because I don't want to win the NFC.
Don't want that bye week.
I do not like the bye week.
I want it because I don't want anybody else to be able to say that they got it.
A good, yeah. And see, that's just that. Yeah, I'm kind of past all that, but I think you take Washington as your bye week, you go in as a number 2 seed, and play New York, the Giants.
Yeah, or like the Vikings or Saints or something.
Sure, the Saints, maybe. So, and kind of like last year, take it easy till we get to the Philadelphias and the San Franciscos.
Let the Niners win the NFC.
Sure.
And have the 1 seed.
That would be perfect.
And then play Atlanta and at home.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
or maybe the Panthers.
Yeah, I don't have Atlanta get to the playoffs this year. I mean, unless unless the kid in the backfield is just unbelievable.
I have high hopes for them, but anyways, let's move on. This is week 1.
It's week 1.
We've got a
Football's
a
back.
regular season NFL game in 2 days. The Lions play the Chiefs, and we have a game on prime time Sunday night against the Midgets, and it is in New York.
I don't think you're supposed to say that.
Why?
I think little people.
Yeah, but it's not an offensive thing. It's
Jerry-
the opposite of the Giants.
Jerry said midget.
Yeah.
He said midget not long ago. But
Okay.
he's Jerry. He's 107.
Sorry, yeah. Midgets. Should I need to say it like
Hey, you
that?
said that guy. Some guy passed away or whatever last training camp. He's like, he just looked like a midget.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, sorry about that, people.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're playing the Giants. I just don't like them, so I'll be disrespectful a little bit. But we play the Giants. Jacob or Steven, whichever one of y'all want to do this. Tell me why we will win this game.
Yeah, I think you look at it and you obviously, like you just mentioned, you look at the two teams and you go, well, one of them's way better.
Yeah.
So I think this ends up being a game that Micah somewhat takes over.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those games where it's Dan Quinn's telling her to calm down.
He makes Daniel Jones look like Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I really think so, and I think the likes of Stefan and
They have a
Trayvon
field day.
make Daniel
Yeah.
Jones look like Daniel Jones. I don't doubt that he'll throw them a few dimes, as he is Danny Dimes, and we don't want to ruin the brand.
He's got to
But
live up to his name.
for sure. And then, of course, speaking of Danny, you look at where the game starts and ends in the NFL, and that's with the quarterback, and we have the better quarterback.
Yeah, I think that, just talking about, like, kind of telling you why we'll win and why we think we're a better team, man, that receiving, you got Darren Waller, congratulations. You got a guy who can never stay healthy and he's old as crap. Congratulations. But the receiving core is just so bad, dude. Like, especially going up against a secondary like ours and a pass rush like ours, don't even think about it. Just let your super good running back go off or something, or try to go off. But every time we play them, he does do kind of good, and they still lose.
Jacob, I have a question for you. Speaking of the running backs, who has the better running back, Pollard or Saquon? Who's the better back?
Go ahead, Jay.
I genuinely and Giants fans will lose their mind. Most of the
A lot of people
most
lose
of
their
the just the
Happy and
country, just because of his name, is going to lose their mind. They don't know anything about his stats. They don't know how he did last year, anything.
We're just told he's a star.
Just
so
because
he's,
his name's Saquon Barkley, you need to draft a number 1 or number 2 overall in fantasy, right? But I genuinely believe now the injury could have changed something. I don't know. I don't. It didn't.
which
seem
injury?
For Pollard.
Okay, all right.
But
I thought you were talking about Saquon, and he's got.
oh yeah, he's got like 18
Yeah.
injuries. Yeah, he could have been injured. Anyways, but in terms of Pollard, he didn't seem like he was really affected by his injuries so far, from what we saw at training camp. But I genuinely think that Pollard, especially considering he's not the only, like when you go play the Giants, is if we stop Saquon, that's pretty much it. That's all we got to focus on, right? Pollard, we have so many weapons now on our team. So you like if you just sell it to stopping the run, you're going to get cooked. So I feel like Pollard's going to have a lot more open light boxes and things like that.
Dexter Lawrence, man.
I know Dexter Lawrence is good, but I think they're going to have to spend so much energy with their. And this kind of gets me into. So first off, hold on, I'll back up to answer your question. I think Pollard at this point is the more explosive, dangerous back. Okay,
Who's the better back?
I think Pollard is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Pollard is because of his pass catching ability. He not only is he extremely fast. I mean, Saquon's very fast, but Pollard's very bursty and explosive. But he's also that pass catching ability that we've seen is kind of. Pollard is like pretty much like Christian McCaffrey, just.
High praise.
They're pretty similar in style, of in my opinion, from how it looks, and how we utilize him. But he's just that I don't see a lot of people who have that. Once you hit that line,
Yeah.
that burst. That, I mean, if he finds that hole, it's like, I mean, he just shoots through that line, and
Yeah.
you know,
Saquon-esque.
Yeah.
When Saquon's healthy, Saquon really reminds me.
and he's. I will say he's extremely fast. Saquon is.
Yeah. Saquon reminds me of a young Zeke. He's big. He doesn't even have to make the first guy miss because he's going to hit him. He's going to run him over. And I think that's why he stays in the hospital a lot.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me, hey, who's the better running back on a healthy day? Shoot me. I think it's Saquon. But I think
I won't argue with that, but
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do think it's really close.
yeah, again, I think both of them are really, really good at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so where we're going to win this game though, Dak's going to win this game by putting a lot of points up. I don't think we're going to drop 40 on him or anything like that.
yeah,
but
Dexter Lawrence has been there. You know, Kayvon Thibodeau was there. All their guys that were there have all been there. You know, I think they got some secondary player. Okay, awesome, great.
Get ready to get pieced up.
Yeah, you're going to get pieced up.
Yeah.
But if you guys don't have any other reasons why, well, and I'll just say this: one of the biggest reasons why I think we'll win is that they didn't have any extra receiving pieces for Daniel Jones.
There's
What you're gonna see is our defense. Saquon has done good against us in the past. They still lost.
Yeah, because the Cowboys can't stop the run, right?
So even if we let him, even if he does go ham, or if we regress them a little bit, we're going to beat them.
Well,
go ahead, Jay.
I was going to say, because I wanted to answer your question about the Pollard thing, and I agree. I mean, I could see it both ways. I think that, honestly, I think Pollard's going to have a better game because of some of the things I was talking about with the we have more weapons and that kind of stuff.
Their D-line is not anything to write home about.
Yeah, but in terms of just a player comparison, I could really see it going either way. I'm biased toward Pollard, and I do think he's at this point a little bit more explosive. But yeah, I can see overall, they're pretty comparable. But I have two takes on why I think we will win. The first one is you look at their corners versus our receivers.
Yeah.
Now, our trio right now is dangerous. Now that we have Cooks, we have Gallup healthy again. Last year, we literally had CeeDee Lamb and a dude, Noah Brown, as our number 2 receiver who would not even make who wouldn't even be our 6th receiver right now. And we didn't even have Dak in our first game.
He's not really even a starting piece for the Texans right now.
And so now with that trio, I don't see how. I'm pretty sure they're starting a rookie corner, and I don't even know who's their other guy. I mean, they got
that is an absolute worst.
Didn't they get somebody from Maryland?
They got Deontay Banks, and I don't even know who their other guy is, but at the moment. But I just don't see a scenario where their corner trio is able to cover ours, and I just think that
their corner trio is not going to be able to cover down to our 4th and 5th receiver.
Exactly. So for that reason, I think we're just going to line them up. But number 2, and this one I think could be big. It goes along with what we've talked about with the, them having a lack of a receiving core. I think that what's going to happen is because we know that they're going to have to run, we're going to play heavy box, get them in those third down scenarios, right? Third and long scenarios.
Yep.
And I think what's going to be the key the X factor for us, or the key difference is, if you remember last season, 2 players that we didn't have in our team were when we played them the first time at least, was Jonathan Hankins and Mozzie Smith.
Yeah.
And if you remember, we would regularly get them in these third and long, second and long situations, and there would be nobody open, and Daniel Jones would run for like 15 yards up the middle. Right? And so I think that I genuinely think with having Hankins and Mozzie, I don't think that's going to be an option. I think he's going to have to try to hold the ball and try to make a play or throw it away. And so I just think that is going to make it really difficult for them to get anything going. They already had difficulty getting things going against us before we added those pieces. And so I really think that weakness was a big thing that they exploited, and I don't think it's there. So I think ultimately those two reasons are huge reasons why we can come away with the win.
a couple of really good points for sure.
Now I want to say, talk to me about this super improbable thing that could happen here. Cowboys lose.
Yeah, here's the deal.
How does that happen?
Here's the only way that happens. Cowboys can't stop the run, right? The narrative exists until it doesn't, right? So the way we lose is that if Barkley just starts having a day. I don't think it's just much like Jacob's points he just made. I don't see a world where Danny Dimes goes and starts piecing us up. Okay, so I think their defense plays lights out, and Barkley has a day. And when I say a day, I mean he's going over 100 yards, and he's got maybe 2-3 touchdowns, with the help of and once they realize they can run on us, maybe Danny Dimes goes out there and uses his legs some. But I think that's the only world where this isn't some 27-17, 31-27.
Yeah,
victory.
I mean, the last time we played them, Saquon had 81 yards.
Yeah, it's a day. I mean,
That's
it's
a good
just
day.
it just unfortunately with Dallas and the style of offense we're going to play now, and Dallas with Dak and Dallas with Brandon Cooks and having a deep threat, I feel like this is one of those teams based off of their secondary where Dak can really, really, really have a monster day. And I don't think we're living in a world where Danny Dimes can replicate that. So he's going to have to live through Saquon, and Saquon is going to have to go off.
Yeah, I think we're just.
And it's going to require more than 81 yards.
What about you, Jake? Do you agree?
Well, honestly, I will say this. I think that even if Saquon can have however many yards he wants to, I feel like if Saquon is having that kind of a game, that means that I think the game will be slowed down a little bit, because I think regardless of what they do, we're going to score a lot of points. I think it's going to be hard for them to, like I said, them to cover our guys, right? And we also know that
it would require, and I don't mean to cut you off, but like I just said, it would require Daniel Jones being able to step up with Dak Prescott and go blow for blow.
Yeah, in which case, I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
I don't think, even if, like I said,
it can't happen.
If they're doing a heavy run game and Saquon's having a day, even still, I think if that's happening, that means that they're draining the clock, and it's probably going to be, they're probably not going to be having many possessions.
You're saying maybe it's a little bit of a low-scoring game, and they kind of pull it off.
He ends up because if Daniel Jones is not having to throw it all over the yard, I think is what you're saying.
Yeah, like that. If that happens, maybe, but even still, even if they do try to slow it down and not give us many opportunities, which is probably going to be their strategy, and to try to go through Saquon, I still think that's not enough. I think even if everything goes according to plan, and they slow us down, they don't give us many opportunities, and they drain the clock and run with Saquon, and even if he has a game, a really good game, I still don't think that's enough. I genuinely think the only way we lose is if everything goes right for them, and we have a game where it's we have some really bad injuries during the game, or we just have a Tampa Bay game one where we we weren't really, maybe we're looking ahead to the Jets and we kind of overlooked the Giants. Maybe we are a little bit rusty because maybe there's a little bit of an adjustment period because of the new play calling situation. Maybe we make some uncharacteristic mistakes. Mm-hmm. So I basically to sum it all up, I'm saying I think even if the game, in terms of without any mistakes or just mishaps or whatever, I don't think they can beat us, because I just don't think they have. I genuinely don't think they
don't
have
the firepower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it would have to take them having the game of like everything go according to their plan, and then we we fumble a punt and they pick it up. Like mistakes like that, missing field goals and stuff like that. I think would have to pile up.
Just where Cowboys fans are literally sitting there going, "What is happening?"
Yeah,
It would
like
have to
week
be like
one
worst case
against Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Or
So Tampa Bay,
Niners.
going back to last year, week one, the good news for Dallas is the greatest quarterback of all time is not going to line up on the other side.
Right.
The good news for Dallas is that it's most likely
It's Paris Campbell going up against Trayvon Diggs.
Most likely, Dak is not going to break his thumb on a
Yeah,
helmet.
hopefully.
Most likely,
Yeah.
and most likely, or what is true is that we're not playing a team that just 36 games previous to this week one won a Super Bowl. Okay, we're talking about the Daniel Jones era New York Giants. Where there is one superstar in town and he has to lose his mind out there to get him across the finish
Well, here
line.
let's ease the Cowboys culture fan base's minds. We're gonna win, and what I think is gonna happen. Let's just talk about what we believe is gonna happen. Okay, if you're the fantasy guy, right? You're starting Dak. If you've got Dak on your team, you're starting Dak.
Sure.
You're benching Danny Dimes. CD's going to go ham. He always does against the Giants. I mean, just the dude has like some of the best catches against the Giants.
But why wouldn't it? Like, it's such a
Right?
logical
Yeah.
thing.
I'm just saying. I think obviously Brandon Cook's debut with the Cowboys. He's going to be electric. I think that we win. I saw somebody post this and I was like, okay, I had a similar, but I couldn't put it into like a direct thing. I think it could be like a 31-21 game.
Yeah, I'll ride with that all day long. I know Saquon's going to get his, right? He's going to. All right, he may have
They'll get 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Sure, he may have an 80-yard day that results in a touchdown, and then Dimes throws for one or runs for one or something like that, and they're going to get close and get a few field goals. But this offense that Dallas is rolling out against that defense and Dak versus that secondary, expect for Dak to just absolutely piece these dudes apart all evening long. And I just don't see a world where he doesn't. I can look down this schedule like we did earlier in the show and go, gonna be a long one for Dak. Gonna really have to put some stuff together.
But it's not this one.
This team, I don't see where Dak doesn't just almost. I don't want to make it as if the New York Football Giants are scrubs because I think they're a playoff team, but I just don't see a world where this isn't a little more than a practice for us.
I mean, you're talking about last season. They could not even beat us with Cooper Rush and that receiving core. Personally, I do think it'll be a little bit of a lower scoring game because of the fact, like what you were saying, Steven. I do think they know where we will dominate them, and I think they're going to try to keep the ball out of Dak's hands as long as they possibly can.
So just real quick score prediction. What do you think?
31-17.
Okay, I like that. I actually like that better than what I did.
I think because we're going to score a lot in the first half, and then we're obviously going to bring the
send
tempo.
Trey Lance in there.
Well, I don't know that Trey Lance sees much action in week one, but I do see us scoring a bunch early, scoring a bunch in the first half. I think we go into halftime like let's say
Pollard go ham in the second
let's
half.
say we've already thrown up 21 in the first half. It's 21-3, something like that, 21-10. And we start playing the clock game.
That's fine. Jacob?
Yeah, so like I was saying, I think it'll be a little bit low scoring because of, they're going to try to drain the clock. I think another thing we didn't even really talk about too much is we do have some injuries that have piled up when it comes to, we got some guys questionable. Sam Williams, Dorrance Armstrong, both questionable. Tyler Smith, like we talked about at the beginning, questionable. I think that's all in the trenches. That's that depth that helps Micah and D-Law be fresh. That's Tyler Smith helping us in the run and keeping Dak standing. So
I got faith that Micah can handle this one on his own.
He can. I'm just saying, he's. I mean, you want to have that good rotation so that he's fresh. But anyway, I'm just saying.
I get what you're saying.
Because of all those, when you look at them, they have pretty much no injuries. We have a couple of those injuries all in the trenches, which they're already kind of strong there. On top of their game planning, to slow it down. So that for that reason, I think it could be more of like a 27-14.
Yeah.
Game.
Pretty similar, just a little bit.
Maybe a 24-14 game.
Yeah,
there's no way you can convince me that we're not scoring 20 plus points.
No, I mean we might already have 20 plus points as we sit here recording on Tuesday.
Yeah, they're like, Dak 300 yards, 24 points, first half.
This is going to be a Cowboys heavy
just write it
offensive
down.
stats.
It's going to happen. All right. Well, I mean,
score prediction, Ethan.
I said something along the lines of 30, north of 30, and I'll say 31-35 for us, and they'll have.
Because eventually we're just going to start turning around and handing it to Pollard.
21. I think maybe they have 3 touchdowns. Saquon probably gets 1 or 2 early, and then Daniel Jones takes off for 1 late, and tries to pull something together, but that's about it. So
that's fine.
Yeah, but outside of that, I didn't really have. That's all we had, right?
Yeah, this is a Cowboys win, week 1. Let's see it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, when I tell you I'm so excited for this season to start, especially not even just Cowboys game in general. Obviously, I'm going to be watching every bit of that, but week 1 is just action packed.
We like the football.
But yeah, we do. Yeah. We are actually for week 1. I think we talked about it, and hopefully I'm not saying this without confirming it. But Steven, tell us where we're going to be.
Yeah, Cowboys Culture Podcast. We go to games, we go to events when we're playing in places like New York City. This weekend we're going to be up at the PGA Frisco Golf Club. They are doing a massive watch party event out there for week 1. We hope to see some of the culture out there.
Oh yeah.
Please say hi to us if you recognize us. Ethan will talk your ear off.
Spread the culture, baby. Yeah, and, spread the culture.
Yeah, we cannot wait for week 1.
But yeah, we'll be there. So if you see us, say what's up, and we can talk Cowboys all day long. But that's it. Make sure you guys are continuing to like, comment, and subscribe on the video and to our channel. Follow us on Instagram as per usual at Cowboys Culture Podcast.
There's still time. We have a True Brand hat up for grabs.
We do have a True Brand hat up for grabs.
On all socials.
Snag that bad boy.
Yeah, go.
It's
you
there.
Still got time to win it. We're going to announce the winner on game day. And by the way, I mean, for guys like us, man, I don't know if, you guys are into this or not, but you can clearly tell that we're all into True Brand. These new corduroys dropped. True Brand's new corduroys dropped this weekend.
Yeah, True Brand. We freaking keep posting you on our story. Post us back. All right.
We love True Brand. We're huge fans. And Ethan Show'em, by way of Dallas, dropped their new line for the Cowboys
Both of
this
y'all.
year.
We are open for sponsorship, so please, we would enjoy that.
We certainly would. But
this one's free, but maybe the next one might cost you.
But look, man, we're just fans of those brands anyway. So we love giving them away. So be looking for more of that to come. Let's get out of here, boys. But week 1, we're here.
Let's do it.
How about them Cowboys?
All right, Cowboys Nation, we're out.
See ya.